Hey guys, welcome back to Michi Makes Up. I have monthly favorites to share with you today. Because I didn't do an October favorites video, I combined my October items with November. But it's not going to be a super long video because the list is very succinct. There are several items, but it's just very tightly curated. So starting first, we have with Victoria Beckham's Lid Luster. She released two new shades in November. One of them is Mirror. And this is a silvery shade with a kind of rust undertone to it. It's quite pretty. And then she came up with Chiffon. Both of these are very much holiday appropriate. Chiffon is something I see much more as a lid topper, whereas with Mirror, you could put it all over your lids if you wanted to. So Chiffon is much sheerer, lid topper. I did put this in my crease when I demoed the products, and I thought that looked great too. So while these products, these two shades are not my most favorite of her lid lusters, I do like these products, and therefore they've made it onto this October-November favorites video. The next palette is from Dior's Atelier of Dreams, so this holiday collection, and this is the 5 eyeshadow palette. It also comes with a long brush too, and this is extremely popular, or was extremely popular when it first came out, and part of the draw is going to be this actual compact. Because of the original fashion house, the embossing that we see here also comes in a very giftable box, very pretty. If you did pick up this palette, let me know if you've been using it. These shades are Dior quality. They're pigmented, easy to use. I especially love this pop of color here. Whenever I go into this palette, if I don't put this shade all over the lids, I would find some way to incorporate it because it's just, it's just beautiful. And you can build it up. Then I have two of Rephr's holiday brushes. The holiday brush set came with 3 brushes. These two, brush number 30, which is an Oliver face powder brush, and number 31 is a foundation brush. I found myself, ever since they sent this to me, so they kindly sent this to me, and ever since then I've been using them. This is a very soft, very effective, makes quick work of any face powder. It could be setting powder, it could be finishing powder that you could use, and it just makes quick work of it. And I think the experience that I've had with this does remind me of their 22 bronzer brush, which I frequently use to apply bronzer. It just makes quick work of the product, so that's why these Rephr brushes are on my list. And as for number 31, most recently, I use it to apply a cream blush, which I'll talk a little bit more just very shortly here, and it was extremely effective. This is a very pigmented cream blush that I used it for, and I thought it did a great job. Just diffusing it and putting it on, but didn't move the powder and foundation I had underneath, but still was able to just like diffuse it really nicely, blend it out, made it look even. So that is why these two, again, are on my list. Next, I have a skincare product. This Chantecaille had sent to me. This is the Rosemai face oil, and it has really saved my skin. With it being winter and the heat is constantly on, I tend to get, even though I have combo skin, I tend to get dry patches right here, right along these sides, and even my nose, which gets oily still. But when it does get dry, it gets even oilier over time. So this has really helped me. I use it maybe about 3 times a week in the evening. So I don't need it every day, but 3 times a week, and it just keeps up with the hydration. And anytime maybe the heat is on a little bit more often because it's colder, it just adds more moisture, and then with my other skincare, it locks everything in. So when I wake up in the morning, my skin is not parched and it still feels like supple, and I'm ready for the day, especially if I plan to wear makeup. If you have dry skin and you try to wear makeup, it doesn't go on as well. It's not as easy to blend out, apply, and your overall look is going to be not where it usually is at. So I attribute my overall experience with makeup and my skin recently to this face oil. And speaking of the cream blush that I mentioned earlier, I have next on the list is the Natasha Denona Glam Face Palette. And it's called Glam Face Palette, but it really does have both face and eye products. This is dark, and I am more drawn to the eyeshadow shades from dark than I am from light. And I'll show you light. Really beautiful, and everybody's been kind of crazy over these, and I understand. I did a video demoing both of them and just comparing the two. The cream blush I'm referring to is, well, from dark, which is the shade here, and from light. Natasha Denona blushes are very, very pigmented. I would say these two are maybe a little bit less pigmented than what we've seen from her in the past. However, you go heavy-handed and maybe you don't realize, it's easy to just get too much product. A little bit goes a long ways. And dipping this in was just the right size. I could easily then kind of deposit on the face and then either move in circular motions, or I think I even just did this. Just really quick, short strokes, blended out, diffused it really beautifully. So this is now my go-to brush for really pigmented cream blushes, and especially if they sit in a pan like this. If they're in a stick form or if they're in a squeeze tube, I have other brushes that I can use, but if it sits in a pan like this, that brush number 31 is an easy go-to. As for the Glam Face Palette, I love that she released two versions here, way more versatile, like way more people can enjoy them. Also the shadows, the color stories, the combination of the blush and the highlight she decided to use is just so true to her famous Natasha Denona style glam, and it really is a great representation. So I hope that more people got into the brand because of these palettes, and also the value of them beats buying these products individually. Now you can't get these shades, you know, you can't get the 5 eyeshadow shades and then the blush and highlighter separately because these are new to her collection. But if you were to get something of that size separately, these just have a bundle value, so that's why it's made it into my November favorites. Next is a cream blush product from Victoria Beckham, and this came out in October, and it is what I have on today. So it can be pretty pigmented, you can build on it, but I do think it's meant to be diffused, so it looks like it's giving you this more natural glow. Not quite as light as Chanel's Eau de Blush, has more pigment than that, but you can see this is a lot brighter than it looks on my skin, and this is in the shade Roller Skate. I picked up 3 shades. I love all 3 of them, but I think Roller Skate is probably my favorite, and I find that because you can diffuse it to give you more of an overall glow, it goes with a lot of different makeup looks. Like, it goes well with this kind of really warm red orange tone eyeshadow that I have on, but it could also go with some cooler looks that I've created, and I especially love the shade, but I also love the product. Next on the list are 2 products from Byredo. To me, they're really a tie. I think depending on my mood, I might have one favorite over the other, so I've placed them together. They came out with 2 eyeshadow compacts back to back, one in October and one in November. The one that came out in October is Metal Boots in the Snow. The one in November is Fête Noire. The finish and eyeshadow formulation from these 2 palettes are the same. The color story is different, but they both have this gel chunky glitter shade. To show you, but I guess that's okay. Harder to swatch though. It really is a different experience using these because they're not your typical glitter type shadows you'd find in a high-end brand, but it works. If you're into this kind of experimentation, it really does work. These hardly fall out because they are gel-like. They're meant to adhere really nicely onto these other shadows on your lids. When I wore both Fish Noir and Metal Boots in the Snow, I probably wore each for 5 hours. Yeah, about that long. And I maybe had like 1 or 2 speck fall on my face, but the rest of it stayed intact. And I really went for it. It was not just a light dab. I really went into both of these glitter shades. The other notable finish is this here. So we see it both. We see it on Fête Noire. It would be the shade here. The texture of the shadow, you would think it's a metallic. I mean, it is metallic. You would think it's really creamy, but I'll show you in a sec. It's not quite that. They're pigmented. So you would think, what? I mean, shouldn't they be like really pigmented? And you know, they could be your kind of prime shade. You can use it to like build your look to be deeper, however you need it to be. They don't work like that. It really, really threw me off. And because of it, I initially, when I talked about Metal Boots in the Snow, I thought, hey, this is great. I love this color story. I love that they included a fun glitter shade to experiment with, but I just don't understand what's going on here. This shade is kind of tacky. And I think it's meant to be like a primer shade. You would add it all over your lids, and then you add the other shadows on, and then the glitter shade if you're gonna use it, and everything just stays together. Both times when I created or demoed these palettes, I used that shade, and I can say very little glitter fallout and definitely no fallout from the other shadows. So one of the top reasons that I place this into my favorites and kind of in the middle of the list is barely any fallout. Well, no fallout from any of the shades, just a little bit of fallout from the glitter. And that, I mean, both of these color stories are really beautiful, but they're just doing something different in the high-end category, which I love and I had a lot of fun with. So I look forward to either wearing this for a holiday party or, you know, one of these. I really got to take advantage of that black glitter or silver glitter. And worth mentioning is the compact itself. These are raindrop compacts. It's supposed to imitate what water looks like when raindrop falls on it. For Fête Noire, it's a limited edition because it has this kind of gunmetal shade to it, whereas the classic shade is kind of like an antique gold. I have more eyeshadows next. These two, I don't think you guys will be surprised with the next two, but these are from Viseart. These are the new Étendu palettes that were released in the fall. We have Cashmere and Bijouette. I don't think I can pick a favorite. They're just very different from each other. Cashmere, cool shades, bridal shades you could even say, but any look that I've created, I've always loved. And while it's not a color story that I'm drawn to, like if you put it next to Bijouette, I'd probably always go for Bijouette. However, whenever I do go in, I'm like, this is so beautiful. If you're into purple, you've got this lovely, lovely shade. And Viseart eyeshadow, excellent quality. They never leave you dangling. You don't have to experiment too much. You've got some really nice matte shades to anchor your look and some bright metallics to brighten inner corner and things. Yeah, just they make it nice and easy and beautiful every single time. As for Bijouette, really enjoy Bijouette because it's also very different from all the other étendues that has been released so far. So all the étendues have, well, all of them actually have a theme, but this one is, the shades differ from each other the most. You can see in Cashmere, you know, everything's kind of cool tone and gives a certain glam look, whereas this, a lot of the shades are warm, but then you've got some green, teal here, purple, and then you've got a gold, orange, and red. Like, what are you gonna do with that? So this is much more invitation to experiment, and I had a lot of fun with this. I think I used maybe these two shades here combined with this one, maybe these four, to get like a Halloween type look, and I thought that was really fun. And blue here is really gorgeous. Same with this green. I think this green, if I remember correctly, is actually on the Koi Slim Pro palette, which you cannot get off of Viseart's website anymore. You might be able to get off of other retailers, and I don't even think Sephora has it anymore. So just a side note there. The next item are the final set of eyeshadows I have in my favorites for this month and October. These are going to be the Viseart Petite Fool from this holiday season. And these I ranked higher, placed higher on the favorites list than the Attendu palettes, not because the color stories are better or the quality is better. It's just that they are such a fun concept, and you can pick up just one Petite Fool or the two that you're most drawn to, and there you go, you have a look. You can choose to use these shades, some of them anyways, as an all-over shade if you wanted to. You can use all four to create a look. This is Peridot. Peridot is my favorite out of the four different color stories, and it just also reminds me of how fun last year's Petite Fool were. Because of those little palettes, I became closer with the Viseart community, and I got to know the Viseart team a little bit better. So it just brings back really fun memories and you know, the really positive and fun things about being a beauty content creator. So they have a very special place in my heart. And I also love Lapis. Bright silver, a gorgeous blue, just excellent. And every single one of these Petite Fool palette has a matte shade. The matte shade can really help you out a lot here to blend in seams, to blend in shades, to lighten up things if you deepened it too much, to just kind of subdue it, or provide a nice base to your look. So I always love a good matte shade with any look. And these are the highest ranked eyeshadows from the past 2 months for all of those reasons I just said. Moving on to a face product, next on my list is a highlighter from Chantecaille, the Eclat Brilliant. I love it. It's the brightest highlighter that I have from them, and possibly in my collection. And speaking of which, I don't actually have highlighter on right now. Let me add some. Isn't that, but it's bright, but it's still subtle. It's very elegant. And it has a pouch. It also comes in this beautiful box. I mean, great for holiday gifting. This is my third application, and I just find that it's still very subtle, but still eye-catching. I'm not going to put on the other side because there's another highlighter I want to show you, and it'd be good to compare the two. They're different kind of type of highlighter products and definitely different formulation, but it's worthwhile to compare the two. So I'm just leaving the side for when we get there. Next is from Westman Atelier. This product is the new Lip Suede Le Bordeaux, found in their limited edition holiday box set. And it is messy because I've gone in to use this, demo this, swatch it. I've also combined shades here. This is so beautiful, holiday appropriate. As the name implies too, Le Bordeaux, it's like wine. Yep, these are all wine-like shades. I am able to use all these shades individually, and I think that's the case for a lot of people because each of them are pigmented. But blending them has also, you know, given or resulted in really beautiful mixed pigment and therefore new shades. So I really appreciate this Lip Suede. The only thing preventing me from going in more often is that you do need a brush, unless you don't mind, you know, using a finger. Because you need to go in with a brush, I find that I just don't have time to do that as often, but otherwise I really do love the color story. I think it's beautiful. Along with the Lip Suede is also the Perla highlighter. This is a golden champagne-like highlighter, which I will apply because I want to show you. Going for a second application. And and a third. And you can see this golden. Compared to Chantecaille, which is a powder product, this is a cream, a stick product. Different effect, but both have that bright gold kind of shimmer, glimmer to it. And I just love it. I find myself going to use this nearly every time I put on makeup. So the reason why I rank this higher than the Chantecaille is not that it performs better. I think they both have good stain power. Is that it came paired with the lip suede. Maybe some people would prefer to get one and not both, but these two are just some of Westman Atelier's best products. That's why I've ranked it higher than everything else on the list so far. We've come to the last set of items, and these two are a tie. I just could not pick one over the other. The first items are going to be Lisa Eldridge's Velvet Lipstick. She released 3 new shades this season, this fall, along with lip pencils that matches the lipstick shade. So I picked up 2 pencils. I have Petal, and I also am wearing Velvet Petal today. But if I had to pick a favorite shade from her Velvet lipsticks, it's going to be Velvet Carnival. Just stunning. It's partially the reason why it's #1 because of this shade. And she didn't release the shade this year, it was last year, although it is new to me. So it definitely propelled all of these products into #1. And I also got the lip pencil in the same shade. Let me quickly show that to you as well. And they're exactly the same, pigment, same shade. The difference is the texture. The lip pencils are a little bit tackier and not as emollient. It's still creamy, but I think it's meant to just keep your lipstick in the lines. You can also use it to prime your lip, so you can have like longer stain power with these lipsticks if you so wish. And for the second half of this #1 item category, I have the Victoria Beckham Posh Lipstick in the shade Moody. I have not seen anybody wear Moody and it didn't look good on them. Oh my goodness. Wow. And who was it? The last person I saw are Michelle and Charlotte, mother and daughter, beautiful ladies duo who are my friends here on YouTube, and we talk on Instagram too, but it looks so beautiful on both of them. I was like, okay, I'm convinced. It just looks good on everybody. What a fun holiday shade. It's like a wine, like a mulberry wine type of red, and you can actually dupe it with the Westman Atelier Lip Suede Le Bordeaux if you combine these 2 shades. I know it's a little bit hard to see the shade under here because you've got the deep shade bleeding into it, but it's almost like Moody, but a little bit lighter and a bit more like mauve. And the moment you mix the shade, you know what? Let me just swatch it because I'm almost there. Similar, very similar. I think I would consider these dupes. The finishes are going to be different. This is more of like a creamy matte, and this is definitely a satin. So there you go. These are my October and November favorites combined into one video. Let me know what you think of these products, if you've gotten any of them or have your eye still on some of these products. Sephora is having a kind of one-time 20% off a single purchase if you are a member, Insider, VIB Rouge. So for anything that you can pick up at Sephora, I will have those links below. And I don't believe you need a code, but if there's a code or any more information, I'll have that below as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Good to have you. Consider giving this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and ring the bell to get notified every time new content is released. See you all in the next one. Bye.